Hey folks, Minutes of Horror YouTube channel put another video out about the missing people, but he's showing what CNN's putting a twist on it about, I figured this would happen too, because anytime they don't want you to follow the rabbit hole, they will put a twist on it, so it's just nothing. There's nothing to see here, folks. It's just a conspiracy theory. And they always want to play the blame game, and it turns people away from the truth. But the thing is people aren't letting this go, because it doesn't matter what affiliation with what political party you are, which I'm none. I don't even vote anymore, because I know it doesn't matter anymore. It hasn't since at least the electoral college vote started. That means the popular vote was abandoned. Why? Because that way they could manipulate who gets in and who doesn't. So that's what they've done. So with this, what they're doing is saying, oh, it's just a conspiracy. But there are people who understand there are connections to all of these people, and it doesn't matter what they put on it. I wouldn't believe a word they say, and I don't. I never do. The only time I go to mainstream media anymore is to see what kind of a spin they're putting on things. Well, because Minutes of Horror, and a link to his channel will be in the description box below, puts it so well, I'm just going to let him tell you. With this video, I'm out.
We do have a few things to talk about in today's video, but first, check this video out coming from CNN. You know there's something big at play here when they're trying to make everything that we're currently seeing with these scientists now a conspiracy theory on one party side.
It's the conspiracy theory that won't die down on the right. At least 10 people, some of whom we put on this board, who may have had ties to sensitive U.S. research died or disappeared in recent years.
Well, I hope it's random, but some of them were very important people, and we're going to look at it over the next short period.
The Republican-led House Oversight Committee now wants briefings from the FBI, NASA, the Department of Defense, Department of Energy on about a dozen names. But is there actually a sinister connection? Most of them worked in different fields, and their cases vary widely. Some are unsolved homicides. Some are missing persons cases with no signs of foul play.
She basically goes on to say how some of them, how they ended up deceased is not a mystery, basically trying to debunk it. But we can see what they're doing here. Anybody now talking about this in a more conspiratorial light, not following the narrative or the mainstream narrative, is now a right-wing conspiracy theorist. Even though you all know by now how I feel about politics, I'm not left-wing, I'm not right-wing. And now we're all going to be lumped up into this one group talking about this because this is how news and media is now going to frame this. No, I see people left-wing, right-wing, not politically aligned, all walks of life having questions about what's taking place here. While they all did work different fields, 4 of them worked for Los Alamos National Laboratory and the rest all worked for NASA. And the connection between Los Alamos National Laboratory and NASA is this one man right here. We hear this time and time again, the same old song and dance when the public comes together to figure something out or talk about something that they agree is not right. They start to go ahead and lump people into different groups. I think they even tried to lump reptoids, as a right-wing conspiracy theory. Let's also not forget when it came to Hurricane Helene, Hurricane Milton, when a lot of people were saying these hurricanes were not right, they targeted specific locations in North Carolina for certain things. What did we hear? We had Biden come out talking about pushing back these theories, and we're being told by news and media it was just a right-wing conspiracy theory. I am just sick of mainstream media and how they mind play the public. You want to talk about these scientists? Well, now you have the label of a right-wing conspiracy theorist. So you know we are stepping into deep, multi-layered Triceratops feces whenever TMZ is either breaking the news or they're updating something. Apparently TMZ is releasing something nobody has heard before when it comes to the passing of David Wilcock, who they're saying supposedly had taken himself out. Take for example this exclusive article coming from TMZ, which is titled Paranormal writer David Wilcock expressed money woes in 911 call before death. Listen to dispatch audio. Now, one would think you're going to hear David Wilcock talking to 911, telling the reasons as to why he's going to take himself out due to money issues and all types of things. The only problem happens to be you don't hear David once in this call.
Netherlands Fire ambulance responded stage in the area of for possibly party 1047.
640-528. Party said sorry and then disconnected.
Copy, and we're on the house.
And just information, data found no criminal.
Hold all traffic, he's got a gun.
Copy, there's code 3 on county law at 1104.
Shots fired.
Copy, shots fired, and all other traffic can go law 2. All other traffic law 2, code 3 continues.
0, I'm grabbing a rifle. He still got the gun to his head. Looks like he fired a test round.
Copy, gun to his head, fired a test round at 1105.
5624 AMR3, just information. The party did fire a test round at this time.
Let me get a couple more units with a shield. Male looks like he shot himself in the head, but I'm still concerned about this house.
Copy.
Have a shield in now.
Copy, 587 has a shield. Party possibly did shoot himself in the head.
I'm breaking in now. For the next 2 units, respond emergency. We're going to form a contact team, move on up to the subject, secure the gun, check vitals, break.
Go ahead.
We'll also need to hold off on the house and clear it.
I mean, it's possible they have an open investigation going and they can't release more information, but they go on to say that law enforcement tells TMZ Wilcock made a disturbing 911 call Monday morning, telling dispatch I need to leave and I will be to the left of the house, while also opening up about ongoing money troubles and health issues. He refused to say whether he was armed or planning to hurt himself. Just before deputies reached him, Wilcock told dispatch, "I'm sorry to put you through this," and hung up. This again is not something we heard directly from Wilcock, but something that the police had told TMZ, and TMZ is telling us. I guess later we'll hear David's voice in a video, maybe it'll be AI, who really knows. It's just weird we're getting all this information plus the actual 911 call with the police and the dispatch. We're being told from police through TMZ what David said, and yet nothing in the audio is coming from him. Just very questionable stuff during a time when we have scientists, researchers, and those that are heavy in the UFO community like General McCaslin just disappearing or passing away. But moving on, it would seem like it's not just scientists in the United States, not just scientists in the good old US of A, but scientists in other countries, like for example China, that have been passing away and disappearing under mysterious circumstances. It has come out that around the exact same time that 11 to 14 top defense scientists in the United States either, again, disappeared or passed away mysteriously, at least 9 Chinese scientists working in space, defense, and nuclear technology have passed away under comparable circumstances. It is very possible we're seeing some type of secret war play out where both sides are taking out each other's scientists, but China and the United States are 2 of the biggest players on the world stage. If any countries are to bring in this alien agenda, it would be these 2. Now, I know somebody out there saying, here he goes again with the Project Blue Beams, but the interesting thing is, around the exact same time that the United States released a video showing them firing a missile at an orb, and the orb completely shrugs it off, China had also released a video where they were firing a missile at an orb. Is that just a coincidence? I don't think so. And just because this is a psyop, or maybe a psyop, does not mean that these scientists are not being taken out. They could have been working on something along the lines of Project Bluebeam or their technologies used in this agenda, and to make sure it doesn't get out, they're taken out. One of the individuals mentioned was a 38-year-old professor at China's National University of Defense Technology who was working on modeling possible Taiwan conflict scenarios, passed away in an unexplained car crash in Beijing in the early hours of July 1st, 2023, according to local media reports. Known in some reports as a rising figure in China's AI research, Feng Yanghe, I think that's how you pronounce it, was developing war game scenarios through a platform called WarSkull, which had won national contests shortly before his passing. An obituary published by the state-run science news site ScienceNet.cn stated that Feng was sacrificed, adding to the mystery surrounding the case. That is definitely a very interesting choice of word. When it comes to these Chinese scientists passing away, and it's probably a lot more than 9, they're sweeping a lot of these under the rug, Chinese media have often linked these quote-unquote accidents to road crashes or not have disclosed any clear reason at all. The scientists involved are reportedly aged between 26 and 68. But going back to the word sacrificed, it goes on to say that China Daily reported that Feng passed away at about 2:35 in the morning while leaving a work meeting in Beijing. The newspaper said he had been working on a quote-unquote major task, but did not provide further details. ScienceNet.China said he was sacrificed while performing official duties. An experienced researcher who was looking into Feng's passing was quoted as saying, "I don't think it's good for your health to be associated with this kind of thing." The same source also said the language used after Feng's passing stood out. A person who passes away in a car crash would not typically be described as having sacrificed his life, the researcher added. The researcher said that a lot of these people that are being ended are working in areas such as hypersonics, military AI, including swarming technology simulations, and that an adversary could be trying to slow China down, and it's starting to look more and more unusual. And that is indeed very possible. Again, what we're looking at is 2 countries in a secret conflict taking out each other's scientists, slowing each other down. But that's only if you're looking at it that everything that we're being shown is real. If you watch these 2 countries, how they act on, again, things like the World Economic Forum, you would swear they're the best buddies. Buddy, they have the same ideas, they have very similar speeches, but yet when it comes to the news, what we watch on the TV box, they're supposedly adversaries and enemies. They even have very similar ideas when it comes to the digital ID. What we're going to see happen in the United States is currently playing out in China, where if you're blacklisted, if you say or do the wrong thing, you're taken out of their digital ID system and you're basically finished. You cannot buy or sell in China, and also they are living in a very heavy 1984 surveillance cameras everywhere, AI dystopian society. What again we are seeing here. Among other cases linked to road accidents was Zhang Xiaojin, 62, who passed away in December of 2024. According to the South China Morning Post, Zhang was a space specialist at the National Satellite Meteorological Center and worked on weather monitoring and early warning systems. The report also referred to the passing of Zhang Daibing, 47, one of China's leading drone specialists. He had been deputy director of the National University of Defense Technology's Unmanned Systems Research Institute and founded Yunjinzhang Technology, I think that's how you pronounce it. No cause of death was given. And this is what we're seeing here in the United States as well when it comes to a couple of these NASA scientists. They say they passed away, but they give no reason as to why, and no autopsy was performed. They list quite a few of them. I'm not going to go over all of them, but another individual who passed away with no cause announced was Zhu Guanyuan. He was an acclaimed chemist and passed away at the age of 51 in December of 2023. He had focused on materials research, especially polymers, was a member of the Chinese Academy of Sciences, and worked at the Dalian Institute of Chemical Physics. The report said he had worked with organizations seeking practical applications for his research, which makes me believe that they're being used for their work, research, and knowledge, and whatever they're working on, once they're finished, they're taken out to make sure nothing gets exposed. A couple of Chinese scientists who were hypersonics researchers also passed away, either due to mysterious illnesses or, again, no causes were given. But this isn't the first time we would see something like this. Back in the 80s and 90s, GEC Marconi, a company that had ties to Reagan's Star Wars program, a lot of the individuals from the United Kingdom, about 25 plus scientists, passed away mysteriously. Like, for example, one individual tied a rope to his neck and to a tree, got into his car, and drove off. Another person put a pack full of patrol containers into his car and drove his car into a building. There were like 2 of them that were found beaten with bullet holes in the back of their heads, and authorities said they just ended themselves. But moving on, check out this news story.
The cameras are supposed to be used in search to solve crimes, but there have always been concerns about who's accessing the data and for what purpose. A new complaint with the city questions why an officer ran that many searches and whether there was appropriate oversight in place to notice. Have you ever wondered how often police officers are searching these Flock license plate reading cameras? There's a third-party website that tracks it. HaveIBeenFlocked.com uses public records from Flock's national database of cameras and uploads the searches to the site. And what it tracked in Thornton just led Jacob Wilson to file an ethics investigation complaint.
Proportionally, we had noticed that on the leaderboard on Have I Been Flocked, this person was far and away the top.
Wilson works with the Thornton community group Thornton for All, pushing to get Flock out of Thornton. And his complaint is based on Have I Been Flocked data that shows a Thornton police officer ran 19,194 searches of Flock cameras between October 2023 and December of 2025.
I hope that they really look into that volume of search, because there's just something that it's a severe outlier.
If that officer worked every single day in that time frame, they'd be running about 25 searches per day. The complaint also alleges fewer than 1% of them were tied to a specific case number.
If you're seeing use around the clock, could even mean that an account is compromised, coming from a tech background.
Thornton Police declined our request for an interview about the account and the searches, but said it was aware of the complaint and is looking into it. But questions about the oversight of Flock accounts in the city is not new. There's been strong pushback from the public on the cameras, which the police department says influence changes it's now making.
The old system was definitely not up to snuff in any way, shape, or form.
Thornton PD says the previous process relied on one system admin auditing searches once a month. The new process now includes weekly audits by 5 trained employees, written records of concerns found, and reviews of total searches by individual officers.
Based on their actions, they definitely know that they weren't doing this kind of audit on a system that they really should have been.
Aside from not using the cameras at all, the group says it wants a third-party audit of this stuff, not the police auditing the police. Thornton Police say the new changes were made after broader public concerns, so not specifically because of this complaint. Spencer Soysher, 9 News.
I am glad to see that there's a group fighting against Flock, but I am sure it is so much worse than we can imagine when it comes to all the surveillance, especially in other parts of the country where it's just being allowed and swept under the rug.
Get when you give an AI agent a $100,000 budget, a corporate credit card, and a mission to run a profitable retail store. Anden Labs, which is a YC-backed company, they built an AI agent called Luna on top of Claude and pointed her at one of the hardest real-world tests they could think of. What happened is Luna ended up negotiating the lease, choosing its own interior design, curating all the inventory, posting a job listing on Indeed, conducted interviews, and hired human staff that are now stocking the shelves and greeting customers on a daily basis now. So yes, humans are now reporting to AI. We're now living in that timeline. And the store is called Anden Market. Like I said, it was a boutique store that now has artisan chocolates and my personal favorite, an AI curated bookshelf. And of course they have the book, The Singularity is Near, on the shelves. Now, of course though, not everything ran smoothly. On opening day, Luna hallucinated and forgot to put the staff on the calendar to be there that morning. So the founders of the company were out there scrambling, opening up the doors themselves. And that's really what they're testing with this experiment though. What they're trying to learn is what can AI agents do reliably versus what they still can't do yet. This store isn't really about retail. This is really a stress test on long horizon AI tasks. Like, can AI manage goals that take months to complete? Commercial lease, a full supply chain, a team of humans, not just answer a prompt, but actually run something top to bottom. Because that's the frontier this entire AI agentic industry is trying to figure out right now. And Anden Labs, they're running this experiment here in public, which is either really brave or just super SF. Both could be true. Anden Labs is testing the limits of what AI can do, but every company building agentic products products will hit some sort of a wall as well. And the founders who instrument those failures, who understand precisely where the models lose the thread, are the same ones who are eventually going to build the products that work at scale. The store was the product, but all the failures that they make along the way, that's the data set. And that's what Frontier actually looks like.
It sounds like these people are training this AI to learn how to do retail, and this AI is going to get better and better until humans are no longer needed for retail positions. I saw that video off Barry Stepp's channel.
Is not content with using facial recognition. They have a patent for emotional recognition, because it's not enough to know who you are, it's not enough to know what you're looking at, but I need to know what you think about it as you're looking at it. And I wish I were making this up. They have a patent for emotional recognition to read the looks on people's faces and decide, does somebody look bored? Does somebody look happy? Do they look angry? I'm sure that will never be weaponized against us either.
I saw that video off Machka's channel, and with Walmart going completely digital with the prices, digital price tags, and so forth, with the whole surveilling on people, scanning people, their attitudes, their moods towards certain products, being able to raise certain products, I know I'm not going to be shopping at Walmart anytime soon.
Scientists want to grow spare human bodies. What could go wrong? And when I first heard the story, I thought, there's no way this is true. It is. It's an article put out by MIT. Just ethically sourced to human bodies. Spare living human bodies. Stem cells create structures that mimic human embryos, along with artificial womb technology that's been coming out. And we've got bodyoids, potentially unlimited source of human bodies. But don't you worry, they lack sentience. And I understand that there are hundreds of thousands of people waiting on donor lists. I just don't think this is the way to go about solving that problem. And if they're putting out an article about this, they're testing the waters, meaning they probably have already done this. I mean, I don't think we really need to go over the ethical concerns of this. But all I could think about is all of the zombie movies that I've seen over my lifetime. What are your thoughts? Are bodyoids a good idea?